For centuries, the Arctic was seen as a frozen wasteland, a silent world of endless ice, brutal storms, and temperatures too extreme for civilization. But today, the silence is disappearing. Beneath the melting ice lies something the world's most powerful nations desperately want. Oil, gas, strategic trade routes, military dominance, and perhaps control over the future of global power itself. As climate change reshapes the planet, the Arctic is transforming into one of the most dangerous geopolitical flashpoints of the 21st century. Russia is militarizing the region. China is quietly expanding its influence. The United States and NATO are increasing their presence, and while most of the world looks elsewhere, a new Cold War may already be unfolding at the top of the earth. The question is no longer whether the Arctic matters, the question is who will control it. In this video, we're going to explore why the Arctic has suddenly become one of the most strategically important regions on Earth, why world powers are racing to dominate it, and how this frozen frontier could shape the future of global politics, trade, and conflict. If you enjoy deep geopolitical documentaries and global strategy content, make sure to subscribe to Deepline Media. The Arctic covers a massive area surrounding the North Pole. It stretches across territories connected to Russia, Canada, the United States, Norway, and Greenland. For generations, the region remained isolated and economically difficult to exploit. Thick ice blocked shipping routes, extreme weather made construction dangerous, and the cost of operating in the Arctic was incredibly high. But in recent decades, something changed. The ice began to melt. Rising global temperatures are causing Arctic sea ice to disappear faster than scientists once predicted. According to multiple climate studies, the Arctic is warming several times faster than the rest of the planet. And while this creates serious environmental consequences, it also opens opportunities that powerful countries cannot ignore. Today, global trade depends heavily on maritime choke points. Ships traveling between Asia and Europe usually pass through the Suez Canal or around southern trade routes that take weeks longer. But as Arctic ice melts, new shipping lanes are beginning to emerge. One of the most important is the Northern Sea route, a passage running along Russia's Arctic coastline. This route could dramatically reduce travel time between Asia and Europe. Shorter journeys mean lower fuel costs, faster delivery times, and enormous economic advantage in a world driven by trade. Controlling these routes could mean controlling a major part of global commerce. No country has moved more aggressively in the Arctic than Russia. Russia poses the largest Arctic coastline in the world, and Moscow sees the region as critical to its future economy and security. Over the past decades, Russia has reopened Soviet-era military bases across the Arctic. It has deployed advanced missile systems, modernized airfields, expanded submarine operations, and heavily invested in nuclear-powered icebreakers. In fact, Russia operates the world's largest icebreaker fleet by far. These massive ships allow Russia to maintain access to frozen waters where other countries struggle to operate. For the Kremlin, the Arctic is not simply a frozen wilderness. It's a strategic shield, an economic opportunity, and a symbol of national power. Beneath the Arctic lies enormous untapped natural wealth. Scientists estimate that the region may contain vast amounts of undiscovered oil and natural gas. There are also valuable minerals and rare earth resources critical for modern technology. In an age where energy security and resource competition define global politics, the Arctic represents a prize worth trillions of dollars, and that reality is driving competition between nations because whoever controls Arctic resources could gain enormous economic and strategic influence in the future. But perhaps the most surprising player in the Arctic race is China. Geographically, China is nowhere near the Arctic. Yet Beijing has declared itself a near Arctic state. Why? Because China understands that the future of trade and global power may increasingly pass through the Arctic. Beijing's long-term strategy includes what it calls the Polar Silk Road, a network of Arctic shipping routes connected to China's broader global infrastructure ambitions. China is investing in Arctic research, partnerships, energy projects, and shipping access. To some countries, these investments appear economic. To others, they represent a growing geopolitical challenge. As Russia and China expand their Arctic activities, NATO countries are responding. The United States has increased military exercises in the region. Norway has strengthened Arctic defense cooperation. Canada is modernizing northern surveillance system, and NATO is paying closer attention to Arctic security than ever before. The concern is simple. If one power dominates the Arctic, it could gain major military and economic advantage. The Arctic is not only about trade routes or resources, it is also about strategic positioning. Nuclear submarines operate beneath Arctic waters. Missile systems can be placed closer to rival nations, and the region could become increasingly important during future global conflicts. Yet there is another side to this story. The same melting ice creating economic opportunities is also a warning sign for the planet. Arctic ecosystems are extremely fragile. Rising temperatures threaten wildlife, indigenous communities, and global climate stability. Scientists warn that continued Arctic warming could accelerate environmental changes worldwide. But despite these warnings, geopolitical competition continues to intensify, because in the world of global power, strategic interests often move faster than environmental concerns. The Arctic is entering a historic transformation. What was once isolated and frozen is becoming economically valuable, militarily important, and politically contested. The balance of power in the region is still uncertain. Will the Arctic become a zone of cooperation, or will it evolve into a new arena of global confrontation? One thing is clear. The Arctic is no longer the age of the world. It is rapidly becoming one of the centers of it. The battle for the Arctic may still appear distant to much of the world, but the decisions being made there today could influence global trade, military strategy, energy markets, and international politics for decades to come. As the ice continues to melt, the competition beneath it only grows stronger. If you found this video interesting and informative, make sure to subscribe to Deepline Media for more deep geopolitical documentaries, global strategy analysis, and stories shaping the future of our world. And as always, thank you for being with us.